Hi my muddy people, welcome back. I'm Nat at Mud Magic. Thank you for joining me again for my first ever product reveal or product review slash test, whatever you want to call it. And then a little session throwing on Stevie to test it out and see if I like it. So, I got my new Stevie the Wonder Wheel. I was calling him Senior, but I think I should be calling him Junior because he came second. I don't know. Anyway, we'll just call him Stevie. So he's got bat pins, that's why I got him. I got sick of using the system, the other system that I had, which was from Hartley and Noble. So this one is made out of acrylic plastic, never thrown on a plastic bat before in my life, so it'll be interesting to see. But this is the system that I used to have. Oh, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by Hartley and Noble or Top Bats. Well, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but specifically for these videos. So this is all just on me, what I think. So there you go. So you know you're getting the real thing. So Stevie Take One had no bat pins, and I cannot use bat mates. I hate them, and I hate having to put a layer of clay down. It's a pain, it's dirty, it's a waste of clay, even reclaim. I can't stand it. And the bat mates, they fly off, your bats fly off, hate them. So I invested in this system from Hartley and Noble, which did its job for as long as I had it, which was couple of maybe 2 years. Really expensive. So for me, I'm not saying necessarily if you're lucky enough to live in the UK, but for me, having to pay Australian dollar is always really bad. So having to pay pounds converted to Aussie dollars and massive shipping to get this so big, all the bats, the inserts, the big bats, I got it all at once because I didn't want to have to keep paying shipping. So to get it all cost me a small fortune. So it was great. Like, I always liked it because I love having bat pins. I never throw without them. That's why I changed to a wheel bat pins. Never ever throw without bat pins. You can take them out, but I can't imagine I ever will. Famous last words. Anyway, so this system was great, but I never had confidence in it because it was wood. But back when I bought it years ago was the only thing that I knew about. Maybe Top Bats were around then, I don't know, but I certainly didn't know about them. So I got this system. So after having it for a year, about 18 months, this bit here, this insert bit, split away because it's wood, I imagine. So they asked me, oh, did you look after it? Well, those who know me, I look after my tools like they are kings and queens of my house. Like, I love my tools. I've even been in touch with Top Bats and asked them the best storage way for that system. So that was only just today, so I haven't heard yet, but I'll put it in comments. I'm sure they'll let me know. So with this one, being wood, you have to store it up on its end. You don't want to get it too wet. Well, you're throwing on it, of course it's getting wet. Dries quickly because I live in Australia. Even in winter you're not going to have a problem, but it's still split away here. It didn't necessarily rot, it didn't get moldy. You can see it didn't get moldy, but it split away. Well, this is a new one. So in their defense, I got in touch with Hartley and Noble, told them, I sent them a video showing it, and they, with that, absolutely free of charge, didn't even charge me shipping, they sent me a new one, which is this one. So that was great. So I've been using that. You cannot use this on a bat pin wheel. You don't need to, because this has got the bat pins. Well, you don't need to because you've got bat pins now, but I can still use the rest of it. So this is now null and void, don't need it anymore, that's fine. So I then thought, fine, I'll use just this part with the inserts. No, because when I went to use it, the bat pins from the UK are tiny. Our bat pins are massive. So the tiny little holes in the Hartley and Noble system wouldn't fit over my new wheel head bat pins. So I ended up drilling out, and now it fits and it's nice and it's fine. So you can see here, I had to drill it out. I had to drill it in and out sort of thing because they were also different width apart. It was just a pain. So anyway, so it was okay. So I sort of thought, well, new wheel, I'm still not really comfortable with the whole idea of the wooden system. it just worries me that it's going to rot. I mean, that's the original one. Look at how nice it is because I've looked after it. It's still flat and everything. But I also had to drill out all the bats and everything, not for this obviously, my big bats and everything. So I'm going to get some bigger bats because this one we did pretty well, but the other bat system, the other big bats, they're not flat and they wobble and they're just horrible. So I'm going to get some big top bats as well. So top bats, I got this from Keen's. You know, I love Keen's, and it's the top bat system. That's probably backwards, but there you go. And they have this size, which is the 308 millimeter, the circle part, and they have a 380 millimeter, a bit bigger, but that was going to hang over the edge, so I decided to go for this one. Anyway, bit of back and forth, decided to go for this one. The inserts are 220 mil, 22 centimeters, which my other bats were about that, I think 20 centimeters. But the good thing about this system, and I haven't got it yet, but I might, is you can also get a little insert that goes into this hexagon, and then that you can get other bats that are really tiny for like doing mugs and stuff, so they're not going to take up as much space. So if you're very limited to space like I am, that's brilliant. While they're drying, you're not taking up all your space. So I have been in touch with Tony and Sue at Top Bats. Absolute salt of the earth, beautiful people, very quick on their responding and their communication. I got this system, I got the starter kit, so it came with this and 6 of the bat inserts from Keen's, but I wanted more and they didn't have any more. So I contacted Top Bat and I said, look, I know you don't sell direct to the public, however, I really want more bats and I throw like crazy and it's driving me nuts not having them. So they were nice enough to sell directly to me, so I'm not saying whether that they will or not, and it was only because Keen's was out of stock, and I don't know whether I should even tell you that, so don't tell them I told you because I might throttle me for telling you. I also don't know if they sell overseas international or not, so I know that all of their suppliers, I had a look on their website, they're all around Australia. So if you're Australian, yay, lucky, you can get this system. Don't know about overseas, so I would recommend contacting Top Bat directly, topbat.com.au I think, but if you Google it, Tony and Sue will let you know. But the reason I say look into it is because the Australian dollar is so bad that if you buy the system and pay the shipping, which I imagine would be a fair bit, but when you convert it from Australian back to pounds or US dollars or Canadian or wherever you are, you'd probably be really pleasantly surprised if they will ship internationally. I'm not saying that they will, so again, Tony and Sue, don't throttle me because disclaimer, I don't know. Contact them if you're interested. They do have their supplies, but I think their supplies are only within Australia. Again, I could be wrong. They may have a New Zealand distributor overseas as well. So let's give it a go. Yay, I'm so excited to use it. So the reason I got in touch with them to see about storing it is being that it's acrylic, not wood, do I have to store it on its side? Can I store it flat while it's wet? Because I mean, I can wipe it with tea towels, it's gonna be dry. But if I can store it flat, that would be good. Just the way of my setup, I'd like to be able to store it flat. Maybe I can store it on the wheel like this, and that will save even more room. Obviously clean it all up, put it back on the wheel ready for next time. I don't know, but I'll put it in comments when they let me know. So this is the little bat inserts. So the thing that was annoying me, because I had a blonde moment, well, I call it a pink moment now, I had a pink moment, that I looked at the bats and I thought, how am I going to know which way they go in? Because they don't fit, oh, I just fluked it. They don't fit each way. And then I looked underneath and there's a little cutout bit here. There's one on both sides actually, I didn't realise that. So there's a cutout on this part. There's a hole here where you put your tool or your finger in to get your bat out at the end. So you just line them up. So it wasn't such a concern. So line that up, put it in, it's all beautiful, nice. Okay, so the big thing, so I'm just going to throw a couple of things, just test it, see what I think, see if I like it. But you know, I love throwing my flop bowls, where I take it off the bat, turn it upside down, shake it. Well, this is scary, and Tony and Sue may be going, oh no, right, because they may already know. Whether, because I've only ever thrown on wood before, whether the plastic will hold the piece. So normally I do a really big piece, like 2 to 3 kilos. I don't have a massive bat, so I don't have the big bats yet. So I'm just going to throw a small bowl and turn it upside down. Not necessarily flop it today, but I'm just going to turn it upside down, test it, and we shall see, because that is something that I really love to do. So far so good. It's a bat and it's working as a bat. I like the Hartley and Noble system as well. I don't know if it's just their system or what, but being wood, it's quite rough on your hands. And it's, as I say, I've had it for a couple of years and use it all the time. So it didn't get any better with time and with use. So I can tell you straight away, first time I've used this bat, smooth as and beautiful. So that is a massive plus for me. Like, I would put my fingers like that on the bat, on that bat before, and it would feel like it was cutting my fingers. Horrible. So that's a massive win for me straight up. Personally, I don't know if that's all wooden bats or just the Hartley Noble ones, but that's great. All right, so I'm just gonna, I'm kind of like, this is probably a smallish base, but oh yeah, no, the bat goes out to there, so I actually might just push it out a bit. Because I was just saying, because I want to take it off the wheel head and tip it upside down, I've got to be able to get to that little part, the little pull out bit, to be able to get it off. So I'm not going to rush this, even though this is not technically a throwing video, although I'm going to throw a few things because we want to test the system. What I'm actually planning to throw, and I've got my clay ready, is a Saki set. So Karen at Barehead Pottery, I don't know if I said it to you guys before, I feel like I have. She went to Japan and she bought Trace and I back a Saki set. A bottle of Saki. And it's pink and it's got flowers on, it's pretty. But she said we're not allowed to drink it until we make our own Saki glass cups, not glasses. I hate when people call pottery glasses, like wine glasses. They're not glass. Just another one of my little bugbears. Annoy me. Oh, there's another saying you can look up. Gwen, bugbears. Where'd that come from? Bugbears. How's a bug and a bear getting a saying? I don't know. There goes my brain again. Anyway. All right. So, as you've probably seen in my previous throwing videos, with my flop bowls, I pull up a big, usually a bit smaller cylinder than this actually, a thinner cylinder, but for the purposes of today I'm not too concerned about that. This is my new Temu rib. I just want to see if it'll stay on the wheel. I almost feel like I can feel Tony and Sue watching this going, don't do it, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. Or they might be saying, ha ha ha, we know it's gonna be fine, because I'm sure they know their product. We shall see. So yes, normally I would have the cylinder even smaller than that, where I can just get my hand in, but I'm not worried. I'm not even gonna flop it, I don't think. I'm just gonna tip it upside down and see what happens. And if it falls in a puddle, I'm not letting it bother me, because I'll just reclaim the clay. And you guys know the whole purpose of doing it is to see if exactly that happens. I'm actually a bit nervous myself. Isn't that funny? Like, who cares if it does? That's why I'm doing it. But I'm still scared to see. Still scared for it to flop and fall everywhere. Might as well make a bit of a bowl, hey? Before we turn it over. Maybe when I turn it over, it'll do something interesting anyway. You never know with clay. So I like to leave the rim a bit thicker on bowls because, you know, dishwasher, being bashed around the kitchen with kids, whatever, gives it a bit of, not too happy with that, gives it a bit of more stability. More like less likely to chip in the dishwasher. Don't know why I'm giving this so much love when I'm going to tip it over, and it's probably going to, well, no, not probably, sorry Tony and Sue, I don't have no clue, can't say probably, where it may fall off the wheel, but either way it's clay. Turning it upside down in a lone state, pretty, so I don't know why I'm worrying. I think I'm just putting it off. Okay, so with my flop bowls, I do not trim. You know how I always show you guys, I always use this thing, and I always trim off that little bit of clay you can see there, and then cut the wire through. I don't even trim that little bit of clay. You want as much clay sticking on the wheel as you can have, because you turn it upside down. Well, see, first of all, normally I would flop that to the wheel head, get the bat out, turn it upside down and flop it, and let the walls come back down and make little patterns like flowers, shells, whatever it looks like, and I love it. But if I flop this, it's going to go over the edge of this little bat insert, not going to be able to get it off. I could get the whole bat edge off, I guess, and then try and get that out, but for the purposes of what I want, I just want to know if it's going to stay on the bat. And it's quite heavy. I mean, normally I say 2 or 3 kilos, so it's not really for what I do. Are we ready? I'm so scared. I don't know what's stupid, because I don't care. I really don't care. Well, I do. I'm hoping it works. Okay, you ready, Tony and Sue? Are you ready, Mud Magic family? Here we go. Oh, it's sticking. It's sticking. Now, I did that very gently. Normally I don't. And now, to get the shape I want on the rim, I shake it. So let's just do it. This is what I do. So I'm going to do it. I shake it down, I turn it around, I shake it. Actually, it's shaking into a, let's just let it shake into a rim and go floppy. So you can see there how it's flopping into a shell, kind of a floppy rim. And guess what? Oh no, it tore, but that's not the bat. Look, it's still stuck on the bat. That was my vigorous shaking. I shouldn't have, and I don't normally shake it that much. As soon as it falls down, I'm happy. So I was more testing the bat. So how good is that for a test? Because it didn't even cut, the clay tore, and it was quite thick before it was going to come off the bat. So yay, Sue and Tony top bats. That gets a massive tick for me. I was not confident that that was going to work at all, which is silly, because if you're centering clay on a wheel, it's got to stick to the bat, but it doesn't have to stick that well. So very impressed. Very, 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 very happy and impressed. So when I get the big bats, I'll have to do a throwing video of a flop bowl on a big bat. So now I'm more just going to go, that was the main thing I wanted to test. So now I'm going to more go into throwing, try and find the little bit, there it is. Just want to throw a Saki set. Went out of my brain for a minute there. A sake set. So I have kind of looked at shapes and stuff, and I want to drink my sake. So Karen, you'll have to let Trace know if she has to throw a sake set too, or if she can just use mine, because she's not back throwing yet after her spinal surgery. So it's up to how mean Karen wants to be. She is, yeah, hopefully soon she will be, but she's not yet. So whether she can use one of my little cups, because it's the same sake, it's the same flavour and everything, I think. I'm pretty sure, because the boxes were the same. So I'm pretty sure. So, top bats, yay. Love, 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 love. Very love. And the other thing as well, actually, the other reason I just remembered then, the other reason why this was annoying me and why I ditched it was because I had to drill this hole out. It wasn't on center anymore, which makes absolutely no difference to centering your piece, and it was only out by a tiny bit. But my eye, when I'm looking down like I am on this, all I could see was this thing going like this, and it was so off-putting. So that was a massive reason too. And this one, I can guarantee you, is very nicely centered. So, sake set, back to the sake set. They have little cute tiny little cups and a little cute decanter. So the decanter almost kind of looks like a bud vase almost. They don't have a spout, they don't have a handle. Yay, that's the best part. Thanks Karen, I don't have to do a handle. These don't have a handle either. So really all you got to think about is matching the shape of all four. Well, I'm going to do 4 cups. Most of the sets I saw were 4 cups, and the little decanter. So what I might do, I might just throw 1 cup so we can get the shape, and then do the decanter just for fun, and then let you guys go, because it was really just about the top bats today. But I wanted to do this sake set because I want to drink sake. It's very important. I'm actually not a big fan of sake, sorry Karen. But not to say like I haven't had much of it at all. So I don't know whether, because I thought I didn't like gin until they brought out all these flavours of gin. And some of them are delicious. So maybe this sake is flavoured. I don't know. I feel bad now because Karen will watch this. Not that I don't drink it. You know, I love wine and it's like wine. Japanese wine. Rice wine, isn't it? I don't know. Actually, I almost like that. That's a really weird shape. I quite like that. What do I say? Clay tells me what shape it wants to be. Maybe we should go out at the bottom, in, back out like that. And then do the decanter the same. Oh, quite like that. I like that. It's an interesting shape. It's almost more like a nip glass. I can't believe it. I like it. See what we can do to match the, how would you match the decanter though? Kind of lost it. It's got a bit of a belly now. I liked how it went in and out. When I trim it, I can change it anyway. I quite like that for something very different. Well, I don't know if it's different. I haven't really looked around at sake sets, I must admit. I like it. So that clay, I wasn't even thinking when I was doing that. Another good test for the top bats. That clay came off really nicely off the bat too. So whereas when you have it on the wood, it comes off like easy, like, you know, I'm just nitpicking now, but that came off even nicer than it comes off on a wooden bat. See how clean that is? I wasn't even trying to do that, just came off. There we go. And the other thing that this has, that I don't know whether it's anything I would particularly use. I think I stuffed up that ring. It's alright, I can fix it. I'm trimming. That got pulled off a lot too. The other thing that these have, I'll show you on the next one. So let's get that off. Try and get that off without tipping that because it's right off of the edge now. Is the circles. So the centering, concentric centering circles. So a lot of people with the wooden bats will draw them in with a texter, or even scratch them into the wood, whatever. Well, you don't have to with the top bats. However, I've never felt the need to have them. I've never missed them. I've never had them before. Maybe I will, but I certainly didn't look then when I was just doing that then. I didn't look. So decanter, right, so I'm going to try and emulate 4 times that little cup. Again, I didn't measure it. I don't, you know, if this works out, this set, I'm going to keep it. As I said, it's for me to drink sake that Karen bought me anyway. So I'm not too worried about them all matched. So I was like as soon as you glaze something, all of a sudden, like magic, they look like a set, right? Now, I didn't know how much clay to prep for this, so I just got this much. I think I've got one more ball left for whatever I decide to make with it, because it was there to use up the bag. So if this is too much clay, I'll go again. I think it might be, because the sake decanters, from what I looked at online, are quite small. So I might just, this clay up. I actually wedged this clay the other day and didn't end up throwing because I haven't been throwing for a while, and I threw a few big things and my finger was starting to hurt. So I stopped, and I thought I sealed the bag, but I didn't. So I had folded it over, which is why it's not too bad, but I hadn't sealed it, so it is a bit stiff. Which the 6 clay is stiff anyway, so it's not wanting to center because it's quite stiff. So adding a bit of water. Just kind of up again. And this is the thing actually that I don't think I've ever said to you. If your clay's not wanting to center, don't rush it, because the most important part of throwing, absolutely, for me anyway, the most important part of throwing on the wheel is centering. As far as your experience with the whole rest of the throwing of that piece, the trimming of that piece, you'll love trimming it if it was centered when you threw it, because then your rim will be centered when you put it on your wheel for trimming. Which again, I'm very lucky, I have a Giffen grip. If you don't have a Giffen grip, well, that is also worth the money. Oh, that's what I started saying in the beginning with the, forgot to say about top bats. So the top bats, the Hartley and Noble system, as I said, cost me a small fortune. The top bat system was about 1/3 of the price. It was just so good. It was still, it wasn't expensive. It was what I would expect for the quality that it seems to be. It was what I would expect to pay. So I was happy when I looked at the price. But the Hartley and Noble one was insane. So definitely recommend looking. But not to say Hartley & Noble is if you're in the UK. It's only because of me with Aussie dollars and shipping and all that, exchange rates and everything. And Hartley & Noble back then didn't have a supplier here. I don't know if they do now. So whereas they may have suppliers in America and Canada, I don't know. Oh. Anyway, just gonna do this. Okay, so I kind of kept a smaller puck because that's what the decanters, I don't know if that's what they call them, but you know what I mean, the sake decanter things. They're a lot smaller than a wine decanter, and certainly the bottle of sake that Karen got us is smaller, so I think that it's quite high in alcohol content, sake, so maybe that's why everything's smaller. You drink less of it and the bottles are maybe smaller. That's my theory anyway. So you remember the shape that we did for the cup, so we need to do the same. Well, not the same, but you know, if I want it to be a matching set, something like that. So I'm not exactly sure how a canister would work. Well, we'll find out in a minute how you could do it. So yeah, this clay is so stiff, so I didn't want to centre. So I might have to cut the top off because it wasn't centred very well, but that's okay. Can wobble away. So the other thing that I dislike immensely about throwing anything that's got a thin top to it, like bud vases, this sort of shape that we're doing today. I think what else, I've done other things, I don't know. Anyway, anything with a thin top, like those oil pourers, things like that, when you go to trim them, they've got no top for you to turn it upside down to trim the base, so you've got to use what I call a chimney. And my old teacher hated me calling it a chimney. He called it, I can't reach it, it's over there, a chuck apparently, but I call them a chimney. So Karen at Barehead Pottery, one of the best things she ever said to me was, why don't you go to the local hardware store, get some terracotta pots, and they make brilliant chimneys, chucks. So I did, and wow, was she ever right. So if you are like me and you hate trimming anything of an unusual shape like that, because I can't put that on my Giffen grip, because even the smallest, when you tighten the Giffen grip, even the smallest, the little clasps will not go small enough to hold like a bud vase kind of a shape. So you can't use the Giffen grip. So I did that. So I went to the hardware store. It's funny actually, my mum would laugh because I have a brown thumb, as I've told you, all my plants are plastic. So I would never go to a shop and buy pot plant pots. But for pottery, I did. So I've got all sizes from this all the way up to this, and there's 4 sizes in there. So anything that I want, I just get out, the Giffen grip will even hold this little one, and then I can put my pot upside down on top of it. If it's a really wide but it's got a wonky rim, then I'll use that like for my flop bowls. I'll use this big one, turn it upside down, put it on top, and I can trim it. Because they're flop bowls, you can't put them in the Giffen grip easily. Or if you're doing the other shape where it's got the little tiny top like a bud vase, you put it that way on your wheel and you put the bud vase inside there, the top little thin bit inside, any of them, whatever height you need. You can put clay around the rim to protect it from getting damaged, and away you go. And again, the Giffen Grip will hold it. So that was an absolute game changer. So I don't know how I got off track to that, sorry, but I never use my homemade chimney / chucks anymore, because I just use them every time. And I have 4 sizes and I've never needed any different kind of a size. So thank you, Karen. So back to this. I think this might end up being an okay size. I don't know. I really don't know. So let's try to shape it. So I think I've already come in too far with it, because I was going to do that whole in and then out at the top, which is, it's not going to do it. It's not going to work. I don't know. I can't, because I don't want to go out, I want to go in. So I'm just going to change the shape altogether. How's that? Because it's me and it's my brain. I can still do the cups, who cares? I can do the cups that shape, because what does it matter? They're going to be glazed the same. So I just do more of a traditional kind of like shape that I've seen when I was looking. And because I've been too busy chatting, I'll probably let the rim come out a bit too far, but that doesn't matter because I just bring it in. Rock fingers, hey Gwen. None of this fancy kind of like whatevers, rock fingers. Nah, we just hug it. In Mud Magic family, we just hug it like that. We are not fancy. And look at that. It works. You don't need to be fancy. You don't have to get caught up in the whole, oh, I have to do it a certain way. Nope, don't need to. So, I actually think he needs a bit more of a belly. What do you reckon? Might use my rib. More belly, you'll hold more sake, won't he? Pushing out a bit more at the bottom. Okay. So doing that, of course, I push the top out, but that's okay. We were just hugging again. Get lots of water on, because you definitely want your fingers to kind of like to run through. The last thing you want when you're doing that is for your fingers to catch. And while you're doing it as well, I don't know if you can see it from there. So I'm starting here and I'm going up, because you don't want this shoulder to go in and up, or it's just going to flop down in the middle of your pot. So I think that's cute. Maybe we'll do the, maybe I'll do the cups more this shape. Probably be nicer to drink from anyway. So I don't know, because it's a liquid. It's not a bud vase. You still want a bit of an opening there. So I'm just going to cut and try and make that a bit straighter, because it was hard to center. It's kind of not very happy. Doing. So you still want to be able to pour out of it as well. So you want to make it a bit of a pouring rim, in the sense that you want it to come out like a mug, like if you were drinking from the lip. Want it to thin out and come out. Yeah, I like that. for like how much it goes in there. What do you reckon? Should I go in and hang on, let me just see if I take this off. Let's see if we see what it looks like without all that on it. Yeah, I don't like that. And this is what I love about being a potter. Guess what? You can stick your hand in, fix that down the bottom. I like it. How many of you at home just groaned? So that went very thin, but when you bring it back in, it'll thicken again because you're bringing the clay back in. Just got to get that water out. This is fun. This is where I said to you that I just go with the flow. And because this was all about top bats, I didn't have any thoughts on this stuff, shapes and stuff, so yeah, just go with it. I don't like to see an obvious shoulder, so that's sort of, I'll play with that a bit. Bring it in. But then, as I said, you still want to be able to have a nice, an area, like you don't want to be in too much because you've got to pour the sake in there. And then even more importantly, pour it back out into your cup. So I like that better. I know that wasn't much of a change down the bottom, but because the base is what it is on the wheel, I didn't do the base big enough maybe. But I fattened it out, so it's a bit better. And what I could do as well is then I can get this one up, which I've got, which I love. Oh, splash my light. Which is my foot tool, and you can actually use this foot tool at trimming as well. But you can just put it in there and grab that, kind of like make a foot. It almost looks like the Genie's bottle from My Dream of Genie. Needs a stopper in the top of it. Okay. So I might make some little cups that are more that kind of shape, that teardrop shape. You'll see when it comes out of the kiln. What I end up doing. So I have one little more product just review for you, very quick before I let you go, and it is totally pottery related when you live in my house, which is Band-Aids. So the reason I quickly want to tell you about these is because I've tried many Band-Aids, as you know, because I'm hopeless, and Band-Aids are useless when you're throwing with all that water. Well, these are brilliant. Look, I put him on and he's still there. Your little lion. They are kids ones, but so what? They're waterproof. See how it's still completely stuck even after all that throwing that we just did, all that water. Hasn't even moved. I had one on the other day for 3 days of throwing and it stayed on. But they are waterproof, but they're an American brand. I checked that first, so I thought I'll show you because you can get them overseas, and I've had so much trouble with trying to get ones that will stay on because I need them all the time when you're throwing. There you go. Next care, 3M Band-Aids. Yay. So there we go, all done. I am extremely happy with this bat system. Definitely recommend it. Tony and Sue, thank you, and thank you for all your back and forth chatting, and we had some great little banter and chats. So get on them, especially if you're in Australia. If you're not, still get on them if they will allow you, because you'll find the exchange rates brilliant. So thank you very much for joining. Stay muddy and have a magic day. Bye.